conceive it can achieve. The secret was a real transformation for me because I grew up with a very negative father who taught that rich people the were people that had ripped everyone off and thought that anyone that had money must have deceived somebody. So I grew up with a lot of beliefs about money. That if you had it, it made you bad. Only evil people have money, and money doesn't grow on a trees. Who do you think I am a Rockefeller? That was one of his favorite phrases. So I grew up truly believing that life was difficult. It was only when I met Clement Stone that I began to shift my life. When I was working with Stone, he said, I want you to set a goal that's so big that if you achieved it, it would blow your mind and you would know it's only because of what I have taught you that would have achieved these goals. At the time, I was making about $8,000 a year. So I said I want to make $100,000 in a year. Now I had no idea how I could do that. I saw no strategy, no possibility, but I just said I am going to declare that. I am going to believe it. I am going to act as if it's a truth and release it. So I did that. One of the things he taught me was every day to close your eyes and visualize the goal as if it's already achieved. I had actually made $100,000 bill I would put on the ceiling. So first thing in the morning I would look up there it was and it reminded me that this was my intention. Then I would close my eyes and visualize having the $100,000 a year lifestyle. Interestingly enough, nothing major happened for about 30 days. I didn't have any great breakthroughs ideas. No one was offering me more money. About 4 weeks into, I had $100,000 idea. It just came right into my head. I had a book I had written, and I said if I can sell 400,000 copy of my book at a quarter each, that would be $100,000. Now the book was there, but I never had these thousand thoughts. One of the secret is that when you have an inspired thoughts, you have to trust it and act on it. I didn't know how I was going to sell 400,000 copies. Then I saw the National Enquirer at the supermarket. I had seen that million of times. It was just a background, and all of a sudden it jumped out at as foreground. I thought if readers knew about my book, certainly 400,000 people would go out and buy it. About 6 weeks later, I gave a talk at Hunter College in New York to 600 teachers, and afterward, women approached me and said that was a great talk. I want to interview you. Let me give you my card. As it turned out, she was a freelancer writer who sold her stories to the National Enquirer. The theme from Twilight Zone went off my head like, oof, this stuff really working. That article come out and our book sales started to take off. The point I want to make is that I was attracting into my life all these different events, including this person. To make a long story short, I did not make $100,000 that year. We made $92,327. But do you think we were depressed and saying, this doesn't work? No, we were saying, this is amazing. So my wife said to me, if it works for 100,000, do you think it would work for 1,000,000? And said, I don't know. I think so. Let's try it. My publisher wrote me royalty check for our first chicken soup and for the soul book. And he actually put smiley face his signature because it was the first $1,000,000 check he would ever written. So I know from my own experience became I wanted to taste it. Does this secret really works? We put it to the test. It absolutely worked, and now I have my life from that every single day. The knowledge of the secret and the international use of the law of attraction can apply to every single subject in your life if it is same process for everything you want to create, and the subject of money is no different. To attract money you must focus on wealth. It is impossible to bring more money into your life when you are noticing you do not have enough, because that means you are thinking thoughts that you do not have enough. Focus on not enough money and you will create untold more circumstances of not having enough money. You must focus on the abundance of money to bring that to you. Please do like, share, subscribe for our next chapter.